Zdvyzhivka village. There was a column of Russian Federation machinery here, over 2,000 items. People live here. Broken and looted cars are in many yards. Tanks and armored troop carriers were standing in every yard. Children. Behind these houses where children stayed, they had headquarters and a hospital. Helicopters would land here all the time and take away wounded people. I understand there were no battles here, right? No battles. It was their base here. There were over 2,000 military machinery units. There is a farm over there. It's awful now. They were positioned there. Tanks, armored troop carriers, grads, all shelling would come from there. Heading Kyiv? Yes, mostly to Kyiv, Borodyanka, Hostomel, that direction. A lot would come from Belarus too, above our houses. My husband told me so. They were long-distance rockets. Did you stay here all the time? Yes, we did. There were 2 armored troops carriers behind our shed, but thanks God our soldiers destroyed them with a mortar. Everything is broken in our yard, but it doesn't matter now. Another tank entered our neighbor's yard. How did they behave when they were here? Did they loot? They did, but not all of them. There was a sergeant in the tank here, he would take everything. He brought it all to our neighbor's shed. Even an old mortar, the neighbors didn't know what it was. It turned out to be a mortar. Mattresses, washing machines. If people lived in the houses, they didn't take anything from there. But a lot of people abandoned their homes, so they took everything. Even underwear. Did they take your food? When they entered at first, those searched cellars to get food. Then others would come later. They didn't take food. It was different. My mother-in-law died on March 2nd, and they were standing here, a column of 3s. But frankly speaking, they helped us bury her, helped to dig out a grave, because we were thinking to bury her in the garden. More or less. They didn't rape anyone here. After they had left, we found 5 people killed in a cellar. Behind the gardens, there were 2 killed ATO soldiers. They would hunt ATO soldiers. They hated people from Kyiv too, even though I'm from Kyiv. They asked us if there were any residents from Kyiv. I said no. An old lady lived here. Her grandson came to her from Kyiv. At first, they said they burned grass and the house caught fire. But it turned out, the old lady said that her grandson was once on a hosting program in Italy. So he filmed those tanks here and sent the videos to a reporter in Italy. Most likely they found it out because the house and sheds caught fire at the same time, all at once. If it had been grass, just one construction would have caught fire. They didn't allow us to carry phones with us. If they saw someone with one taking videos of tanks, they smashed phones. There was an old man who would transmit information, so they caught him and beat him for 2 days in a trench. Then they came to his house and stayed there, ordered him to fix a sauna for them and to cook for them every day. If you don't cook, we'll kill you. Another man was forced to leave his house. They locked him in a cellar and stayed in his house. And they stole a lot too. When they first entered, they thought it was a city. They said, "Oh, it's such a nice city." And we said it was a village. They were shocked. They were surprised that there was gas. When they found houses of rich people, they would go crazy. How are you feeling now? How's your mood? How do you feel about the future? I hope to God they won't return. I hope they won't. Now I have headache at night, nightmares. We're afraid to sleep at night because shelling would always take place at night. Do you have any children, young people? It was terrible. My daughter and her husband fled from Kyiv, came here. They have a son almost 2 years old. My niece came too. Her mother-in-law lives in that house, so she and her husband came. Their child was a month old. They stayed in a cellar. The first days we were afraid to come out. We didn't know what to expect from them. so we stayed in the cellar. We didn't eat anything. We warmed up some tea over a candle for our niece so that she would eat something, and the baby had milk. Do you need baby food? No, they've left. On March 13th, they got ready, and some 40 cars left without humanitarian corridors or any agreements. They agreed with those who were here they would let them go. But further on the way, they didn't know what to expect. Some of the cars were shelled, but mostly they cut through it. They reached Zhytomyr highway. My son-in-law is a soldier now. He was in ATO, so he volunteered. Don't cry, it's gonna be okay. Well, I know there is no point in crying, but we'll hope for better. But everything is broken now.